What scenario do you find more frightening? Signs or Nope?
Signs.
Yeah?
All day long. I mean, it's a hard pill. Nope's freaky. You like the unknown kind of being hunted thing. But Signs is so, like, on the ground, like, they're there, like, humanoid, like, stalking you thing. It's different. It's on a different terror level. It's as freaky, but just a little bit more literally in your house type of like, oh, this is like a person. It's here.
Yeah.
God, I love that movie so much.
Me too. I've been talking to Kaylin about doing like a full like season
please.
on like M. Night Shyamalan movies, and because like I really want to do one on Signs. Like I feel like, but after all the times I've talked about Signs with Abby, Kaylin, and now you, I'm like, I feel like we've covered how much I love that movie. So
It's so good.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
I mean, we talked about it earlier. Like, I have that movie as a VHS, which I do not know why my parents bought and owned.
That's probably worth some money now, being on VHS.
Yeah. And as a child, I'm just being like mind blown by these like split second clips of these aliens. I was like scrubbing a fucking VHS frame by frame to get back and like see the leg. Just to be like, my parents are like, oh, there it is, same as the one in the movie. I'm like, but now it's right here.
And then they walk in front of the television and you're like, move, children! Vamonos! Oh! Oh, God.
Thank God my parents weren't like just horrible pranksters, because they could have just annihilated my imagination.
Just like scratching
Thank
outside
God,
your window.
years down the road in my early teenage years, I had such an experience with a buddy's father, thanks to the movie The Descent, which I will never watch again for the rest of my life.
We're going to get him to watch it, folks. It's going to be a sizable donation from the Jony horror heads to our Patreon to Brian to
traumatized
watch The Descent.
As like a 13-year-old watching that movie in theaters with my buddy and his dad, and then his dad kept us up till probably 4 a.m. haunting us through the house and tapping at the windows and making noises under the door. Yeah, okay, alright, we're good. Thank you. Triggered.
That's some good parenting. Well,
God.
Until we get the opportunity to discuss The Descent, we're just going to have to keep on discussing the Jawscast. Welcome back to the Jony Jawscast. It is me, Johnny Horror, here with my co-host, Brian Calvert, making our way through Amity Island, as we are known to do, discussing all types of films that are either related to Jaws, inspired by Jaws, or directly rip off Jaws. We are continuing our discussion of Nope, the 2022 Jordan Peele science fiction horror film, aka Jaws on a Farm. So,
I love that.
We just left off having dinner with the Brodies, and after dinner I enjoy a couple of cocktails, probably like, I don't know, 6 to 8 cocktails after dinner. the normal amount,
Right. Yeah.
of cocktails.
Uh-huh.
So Brian and I are gonna swing by the Amity Bar. So here at the Amity Bar, we are just gonna talk about basically what one does at a bar, which is drink. And Brian, if you were gonna pair an alcoholic beverage with the film Nope, what alcoholic beverage would you pair?
All right, I did not get nearly as like Razorback creative with this one.
Nor did I.
I leaned into the film a bit, specifically when they were drinking, and I went full blown Otis Sr., Haywood Sr. beverage from the liquor cabinet.
Bourbon.
I went Scotch with 2 cubes.
Nice.
That was my go-to. Something to sip on, something to drink and think about.
All right.
I felt like
so
it lended to the farm itself.
I almost did the exact same thing. I just didn't know what fucking dark liquor they were drinking there.
Fair.
So, but I like that you pulled Scotch because I feel very much like that is what Otis Sr. would have. Either
Probably
Scotch
not
or
with ice cubes, but
no. That's because
bourbon with 2 cubes would probably be better.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, I feel like he's probably got like a nice whistle pig in there. If I'm
there you go.
But what Scotch would you choose? Did you decide on the Scotch? Hopefully not J and B like a previous episode.
No.
Our good old pal McCready. It
no.
wasn't that bad when we.
It wasn't. Honestly.
It was actually,
I was very surprised. It was honestly.
I got no problem drinking J&B.
Yeah, concerned, surprised. I don't know. Nothing off the top of my head. I was gifted some Lagavulin recently, so if I had to choose, I probably wouldn't put 2 cubes of ice cubes
I
in
would
it.
punch you in the face if you did.
If you're drinking something like that, I
drink
hope
it.
you're not putting anything
You
in
drink
it.
it.
You just put it in there, a couple fingers, and sit down and think about your impending doom or what's going to come at you. You don't need ice cubes for that. When I thought of cubes, I was thinking more bourbon, I think.
Well, they were also, they had it on the rocks, so.
Yeah, but it was probably a bourbon,
Yeah, but I mean, I don't like my bourbon on the rocks. Like, I like my tequila, like my straight tequila on the rocks.
Really? Yeah.
I do.
You open it up a little bit?
Yeah, well, it's just like I just enjoy tequila chilled a little bit more. Bourbon is just maybe because it is that darker palate, that brown liquor that
right.
I just feel like it's naturally just tastes better warm.
That's fair.
But I usually drink silver tequila typically, so
yeah.
But that's a discussion for the.
I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of heat now for saying Scotch with ice cubes. But
yeah, you might actually.
That's my bad. Yeah.
Kalen is gonna listen to this and he's just gonna be fucking
furious.
fuming. But I don't know. Again, like bourbon with cubes is kind of offensive to me.
He's gonna be like,
that was one of the things that stuck out to me. Like when they were drinking, I was like, they're drinking.
There were ice cubes.
Straight liquor, and there's ice cubes in it, and I'm like, it's not fucking Blanco because it's very brown.
I've had bourbon with ice cubes. It's nice.
Yeah, it's just like
Depends
for
on the
me,
bourbon.
like it waters it down too much.
It does, yeah. Unless you're drinking it quick, it'll open up a little before. But yeah, I mean, no matter what, it's probably gonna change it a bit.
Yeah.
Kalen just. Yeah. Apologies.
He's
I will never.
He's walking around right now.
He's like Scotch with ice cubes.
But fucking Lagavulin 16 year on cubes.
No, never. Because I said it out loud, Kalen, I owe you a nice glass of Scotch. No ice cubes.
Oh man. You're gonna go to bed tonight and he's gonna
God,
pop up.
I know. With a pillow in his hand. Oh, you want ice cubes? I got some ice cubes.
It's just gonna be a handful of ice cubes. And he's
And
gonna
at the end of a sock. I dipped it in scotch, motherfucker. I'm sorry.
Oh man. Oh goddamn. Well, for myself,
Please, you go next.
I very much shot from the hip. I picked a Bloody Maria. Not a drink that I would drink because I
love it.
I don't like tomato juice. I really liked it as a kid, and then one night after drinking it, I threw up. So I'm not really a fan of tomato juice anymore. But
Bloody Marys.
I thought a Bloody Maria works in a number of ways. The whole Western vibe of Jupiter's Claim and all that, like tequila suits that, so that's why I did a Bloody Maria instead of a Bloody Mary. Obviously, we have the great sequence where the unidentified flying object vomits blood all over the Haywood house. But what really sold me on the Bloody Maria was all the fun garnishes you could do with it. So what I really thought would be great is that you just have you have your traditional celery and then lime skewered with an olive, but then you can hang a key from the ring off of the skewer, and then maybe shove a nickel into the celery. And then you wrap a little string of flags around the glass.
That's amazing.
The kicker is you have a little
put the stars across his eye now, 'cause that's a winner.
You have just a little model horse sticking out of the drink.
God damn. My only other option that came to mind was a zombie shot because of the house.
Yeah.
And the way it drips down type of thing. But it was still, I was it's not
it
quite what I'm going
because,
for though.
It does have the color scheme, particularly if you look at the marketing material for this film. It's a lot of bluish purple.
It still just wasn't quite on the mark. It's just, that is overarching movie and scene, but full blown. Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you very much.
I'll just be dropping a bunch of ice cubes in
All right.
my very expensive scotch while Kaylin beats me over the head with the empty bottle.
Oh man.
God damn.
Oh God, I think we're both heavily intoxicated here at the Amity Bar.
One way or another.
It is about time that we stumble down the road to Quint's Shack. So here at Quint's Shack, we just have a very, very brief discussion about who is the better great white hunter. So obviously we have Quint, who is our, kind of Ahab stereotype, the man who's, out to kill the great white shark, right? Ahab being the mythical fucking insane captain who is intent on murdering the great white whale Moby Dick at any cost. And in this film we have that stereotype in the character of Antler's host, who is a renowned legendary cinematographer,
right,
who dreams of getting the impossible shot, a pure cinematic bliss, basically. Antler's host is introduced early on in the picture, very, very early on in the picture, directing a commercial for some reason.
Yeah.
Doesn't exactly add up given his status, but is sprinkled out throughout the rest of the picture, not unlike Quint, and does become a larger role in the third act, though certainly not as prominent as Robert Shaw's character is in Jaws. But the discussion that we're having right now is who is better at essentially accomplishing their goals of catching the white whale, basically. So Quint, for all of his, talk and whatnot, really is a failure across the board.
Yeah.
Like, he is responsible for sinking the orca because of his own hubris. He can't kill the shark. He always thinks that whatever additional barrel he throws on is going to be the end of the shark, and he just can't ever quite beat the great white. Antlers, however, does manage to get Jean Jacket on film.
Yep.
And
Right
he's
out
very
the gate.
clever with his device that is a self-made camera that runs on film and no electricity, old school style.
Yeah,
I like his vibe and everything. He's very kind of like, gruff and
as much as LA can be.
even with his fucking drapes and
Cape.
running around in his sandals and whatnot. I love his whole vibe. I really, really do. And so he does get that shot, but it is kind of like the moment where he's like, the light, like, it could be better.
Yeah.
Basically. And I'm guilty of this in my own respects of like, all right, that was pretty good. And how many times, Brian, when we were filming shit for our show, did you hear me be like, all right, that was good. Let's do one more.
I want to do it one more time. That was great. I want to do it one more time.
That was perfect. That was about as good as it can get. Let's do it one more time.
I love that though. That's the the pursuit. That's why we do it.
Yeah.
And I get that role. And it's just like, oh man. It's frustrating watching it happen in his capacity of like you have it.
Yeah, like why?
And you see him just charge up the hill, and you're like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work, but there's a very slim chance. What are you gonna do? Let go of the camera? Like,
yeah.
What's the goal here?
So I guess kind of at the end of the day, which one do you think is more proficient in accomplishing their goals?
Technically, Antlers. Antler? Is that his
I
first
think it's
name?
plural.
Antler?
Antlers.
Antlers?
Antlers.
Host. I think technically, he got the footage.
Yeah.
Off the hand crank. The mounted hand crank.
Yeah. He got the shot.
He got it.
Sucked
he just
up
wanted
too.
It better.
Yeah, he gets the shot when he gets sucked up too. It's just,
and that's like, I think I put that in. That's in one of my awards. Is him getting sucked up feet first, videotaping.
Yeah,
and he still got the shot. Obviously, he died, similar to our boy, but technically, that first mounted shot was a success.
He does get.
He could have called it quits, and
so
that footage still lives on.
Yes,
opposed to what he took up with him when he did get sucked into it.
And he does essentially accomplish his goal, which neither Quint nor Ahab actually manages to do, which is kill the beast. He does get that footage, which is what he sets
They
out
never
to
saw
do.
the end of it.
Yeah.
Whereas he was there at least for, what he was there to do was capture it. He wasn't there to capture the destruction of it. He was there to capture it and that it exists.
Yeah.
And he did it.
I do love that. I do love that bit though, where he's just like the light.
Yeah, I was just like, oh no.
And
I knew exactly what was coming. I'm like, at first, right out the gate, I'm like, was the sun blocking it?
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I'm like, oh no, is the footage ruined? Did he shoot into the sun?
Yeah.
And it's like not usable.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, no, I want to do it better.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, buddy.
Yeah.
You had it.
Yeah.
You had it. You flew too close to the sun, literally. Yep. And now you're going higher.
Yep.
Literally going higher.
Prometheus. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Love that, though.
I think. I mean,
such a great character to have.
Yeah, I wish. I think that was one of the things that I actually talked about in my review of the movie, is that I wish he was in it just a little bit more, because I think he's a really, really good character.
Yeah.
I think he's a really, really good character. I don't know, like, without lengthening the film, because I think the film is really well paced.
Yes. Agreed.
So without stretching on that third act and having, because there's no way that he fits into the rest of the story anymore.
Yeah.
So it is kind of a catch-22. There's no real way to put him into the movie without ruining the movie itself. But I just really, really enjoy his character.
Yeah, too much more of him built out, adding to the movie would have been too much.
Yeah.
What I think would have been great would have been, instead of him just being on the porch being like, oh yeah, I built this, the end, would have been the scene that looked so good when they're doing like almost like the that 70s show of them around the kitchen table, when that lighting was so nice, of him just being like boom on the table and being like, this is what I brought to the table, literally, and being like, it's hand crank, it's not, it can't stop.
Yeah.
And like almost explaining it right there on the table. And then being like, oh shit, we have a chance.
Yeah.
And then it's segueing into what it happened. Rather than this being like this off the cuff, like, I'm on the porch, like, oh, I made this. And then they just like, like, oh, it doesn't take power, sick. Oh, and it's just like, that was the only thing I could have think they could have tweaked. And it would have still been like a fun, but more development without adding too much. But, it's all hearsay. So
I also like him singing People Eater a lot. Like,
that was really fucking cool.
I like that. I like it in terms of like the way it plays out in the scene, but it also does kind of call back to Quint and how Quint is always singing farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. There's sort of like a kinship between those two.
Also a little touch to like his story of his tattoo and everything like that. Like, he is that character. We're at the table.
Yeah, exactly.
We're punching it in. It's great. You need that, like, very distanced, gruff, I know how to do this mentality. No one can really question it too hard. We're in desperation. This is what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Here is your person. And him just rising to the occasion.
Yeah.
And being like, yep, this is how we're going to do it. And these are my methods.
Yeah. You're
on board or you're shit out of luck.
When you're on my ship, I'm mate, master, and I'm captain.
So good.
All right. Well, on that note, we're leaving Quint's shack and we're going to head out to sea. Here at Out to Sea, we're just going to talk a little bit about the behind the scenes. And this is all going to be taken from Wikipedia as per usual. So we got to give a shout out to everyone who has contributed to the Wikipedia page for Nope. Because, as you know, we here on the Jony Jawscast do absolutely zero research because none of you motherfuckers pay us, so why should we work any harder than we have to?
But you could.
I mean, you could.
Talking to you, Caitlin. Just kidding. Please don't come.
He's a contributor on this podcast, so
Murder you.
say you're cruising.
We had a good run. Okay.
Development. On October 1st, 2019, Universal Pictures announced a 5-year exclusive production partnership with Peele's Monkey Paw Productions. Nope. Then an untitled project was announced on November 9th, 2020, with Peele set to write, direct, and produce. He said, I wrote it in a time when we were a little bit worried about the future of cinema. So the first thing I knew is I wanted to create a spectacle. I wanted to create something that the audience would come to see. Speaking to GQ, Peele said so much of what this world was experiencing was this overload of spectacle, a kind of low point of our addiction to spectacle. He added that he wrote the film Trapped Inside, and so I knew that he wrote the film Trapped Inside, and so I knew I wanted to make something that was about the sky. I knew the world would want to be outside, and at the same time, I knew we had this newfound fear from this trauma, from this time of what it meant to go outside. Can we go outside? So I slipped some of that stuff in. Obviously, he's talking about COVID and times that we were locked inside of our house, so. All right.
That's right, this was prime time, I forgot.
Peele publicly cited King Kong and Jurassic Park, movies about humanity's addiction to spectacle, along with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Signs, and The Wizard of Oz's influence in his writing. He later identified The Angels of Neon, Genesis, Evangelion as a principal inspiration for the film's premise and monster in the film's production notes. I don't even know what that is, so that might be interesting to look up. Impressed by the hyper-minimalism and biomechanical design of Flair, biomechanical design flair of Sahalaquil, the 10th Angel. He explained his decision to include major focus on the clouds in the film. The beauty of the sky is enthralling. First movies, in a way, The beauty of the sky is enthralling. The first movies, in a way. Every now and then, you'll see a cloud that sits alone and it is too low, and it gives me this vertigo and this sense of presence with a capital P. I can't describe it, but I knew if I could bottle that and put it into a horror movie, it might change the way people look at the sky.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Peele originally wrote the character of Angel Torres as a happy-go-lucky, geek-like character until Brandon Pereira was cast as the character, who wanted to expand upon the character and portray him more grounded. In February 2021, it was reported that Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya had joined the cast, with Jesse Plemons, while Jesse Plemons turned down a role in favor of starring in Killers of the Flower Moon, which can't say we blame him. Peele wrote the script with Kaluuya in mind for the role of O.J. Haywood. Kaluuya was paid $4 million for his involvement in March. Stephen Yeun was added to the cast. Bri, would you mind taking filming?
Let's go. All right. Principal photography took place from June 21 to November 21 in Agua Dulce Desert in northern LA County. The production received an estimated $8,300,000 worth of tax credits to shoot in the state of California. Jesus. The film was shot on a budget of $68 million after tax incentives. It was the first to employ trainees, in this case 6, from Universal Filmed Entertainment Group's California Below the Line traineeship for individuals seeking careers behind the camera. Nope was shot by cinematographer Hoyt van Hoytema using Kodak film, including 65mm film and IMAX, making it the first horror film in history to be shot in this format. Damn, that's cool.
Cool.
2 cameras were used for the nighttime scenes, one for infrared light with narrow bandwidth, and another that captured 70mm film. The overlaid images from these 2 were then added to the information captured from the film camera, creating the needed footage. On July 22nd, 2021, Peele revealed the film's title and shared its promotional release poster, and further castings were confirmed. Peele chose Nope as the title because he wanted to acknowledge movie audiences and their expected reactions to the film. He said he had considered calling the film Little Green Men to reference a theme in the film of humanity's monetization of spectacle. Filming also took place at the Burbank, California location of Fry's Electronics, which had closed along with all remaining Fry's locations several weeks before filming. The store was recreated in its operating state for filming. Fry's co-founder, Randy Fry, and his wife, reporter Vicky Leviakis, were present during filming at the Burbank store. They also had a cameo appearance at the Star Lasso Experience scene, which they filmed in 2 days. In the 1972 Western film Buck and the Preacher, starring Sidney Poitier, is featured throughout the film. Peele said it was the first film that I know of that had black cowboys represented in it. The myth that cowboys were just white guys running around is just not true. But we don't know that because of Hollywood and the romanticized view of a very brutalized era. The film, it shares a spirit. For her introductory scene, which also opens the film's first trailer, Palmer shot 14 takes of Emerald's monologue about her and OJ's family's history, which initially was not in the script prior to principal photography. Peele described each take as a very wildly different, uncuttably so, but just a tour de force. One of these things where you see somebody like, I'm going to make this choice this time and go for it. There's improv in there. Love it.
I like the choice for the title, that it was just like based on like kind of like how audiences would react. I mean, we kind of touched on that a little bit before with like how OJ, like, I mean, like if you were to look up and see that out of your car, that would be your reaction. Nope.
Yeah.
You know,
and he's such just like that stone cold person too.
Yeah.
And he carries that through the whole film, and it's just perfect. And often he like delivers just that presence of just nope, not dealing with that.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna talk about some of the design. Caltech professor John O. Dabiri. Sorry, John. Collaborated with Peele and his team on the design of Jean Jacquet's monster UFO form, and in its particular final true biblical angel form, which was inspired by the Neon Genesis Evangelion, and the invertebrate aquatic locomotion among the sea creatures such as jellyfish, octopuses, and squid, to imagine a hypothetical undiscovered previous existent sky predator, realistically imagining how could something like this hide in the clouds with its ability to generate electric field, taken from electric eels, ghost knifefish, allowing for electric propulsion. Jean jackets fast flying without wings slash sails. Gyulami Radcharan of Moving Picture Company also worked with Debriri and Peele on the visual effect shots featuring Jean Jacket, utilizing both CGI and practical effects. The latter particularly involving the use of a helicopter to swirl dust and dirt on the ground the way the creature does when consuming its victims in the film.
Oh, that's cool.
The film held its first test screenings just 12 weeks before its July 22nd release, with special effects still being worked on. The design for Jean Jacket's biblical form has also been compared to Orga, a final form of Millennium alien species in the Godzilla 2000 movie, who are also living UFOs.
Damn.
Goodness. I really gotta read about this fucking what a Neon Genesis Evangelion thing, because this is referenced numerous times, and I have a really hard time pronouncing that word. Sound design. Sound designer Jony Byrne said, "Oh my god, what just happened there? I'm sorry, I just lost my place so bad." And that is, there we go. Okay. Jony Byrne said in an interview with IndieWire, Jordan Peele is a director who really knows how to write for sound. He continued, "The early conversations were along the lines of, we want it to be super realistic. And for that, we were kind of resisting the urge to hear anything from the monster too early on, because we wanted it to be credible that this was a predator. And how could something so large be getting away with this if it was making a big noise? So one of the main sounds we used was silence." Byrne represented Jean Jacket's presence in the environment by stripping back layers such as dialogue, wind, and chirping crickets. He additionally engineered wind soundscapes containing faint, obscure sounds such as screams to suggest Jean Jacket's movement through the air. The soundtrack was mixed by Dolby Atmos. Music. The film score was composed by Michael Abels, who previously worked with Peele on Get Out and Us. Abels? We'll say Abels. Abels described his score as having to meet the threat level described by Peele in the script and the ideas imposed by the film's quote, "What's a bad miracle?" He added the music needed to have both those senses together, both a little bit of sense of awe, like we would have looking at the Grand Canyon, but also the urge to run away from the Grand Canyon because falling in it would not be good. That's the dichotomy that is present in the film. You hear a sense of a little bit of awe and magic, and then there's sheer terror. But then there's also a sense of real epic adventure towards the end, and the giant music that accompanies a giant historic event. Working with the film's sound designer, Jony Byrne, Abels felt that the use of silence played an important role in scoring the film, saying, "The tension between the negative space and the music is actually a part of the music. Leaving room for the sound design, even when there's a cue playing, was an important part of the way that I approached it. A lot of times the scariest parts, especially the earlier parts in the film, you're listening to what you hope you're not going to hear or what you thought you might have heard. The stillness allows you to freak out in that way."
So accurate.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, it's like the scariest part about that thing is that you don't hear it. What you hear is what it's eating.
Yeah.
Fucking horrifying.
Brian, since you were so keen on the film's marketing, why don't you take
Oh, baby.
marketing?
Hold, please.
Mm-hmm.
The release of a teaser poster in July 2021 and first look images in February 2022 were followed by a trailer on February 13th of 2022. The trailer, which featured the 1962 Regal Theater recording of Stevie Wonder's Fingertips, was praised by critics for simultaneously creating suspense and keeping the storyline under wraps. Some reviewers began to speculate the film would be about extraterrestrial life. Jeremy Mathai, of Film, said it immediately lit the internet on fire and sent fans scurrying for answers as to whether the main antagonist of the film could really be alien invaders from outer space, or if Peele has yet another trick up his sleeve. Jordan Hoffman from Vanity Fair said he enjoyed the song choice and an included static shot with scrolling text, which he compared to a similar shot in the trailer of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. The Verge's Charles Pulliam Moore called it one of the rare modern movies with this much hype around it to make it this close to its release date without the public knowing basically anything about it. Accurate. The trailer was also broadcast during Super Bowl 26? What's LVI? Is that 26? I think that might be
After a
26.
certain point, I lose count of Roman numerals.
Fuck,
It was on a Super Bowl.
LVI. Super Bowl
2021.
LVI. And it earned 86 million views across social media websites during the 24 hours after it aired. God damn. Whatever year that Super Bowl happened, it was solid.
2021.
Yeah, it could have been the 90s. Who's to know? A second poster showing a floating horse was released on March 1st of 2022. Bloody Disgusting's John Squires said it was entirely possible that Nope isn't at all the movie it thus far appears to be, with the marketing throwing us off the scent. Excuse me. Lex Briscuso from Film said that despite the fact...
Can I just stop for one really quick second? Why the fuck can any of these motherfuckers, all the shit that we read about all these reviewers, why don't any of them have normal names? Why doesn't anybody on Wikipedia have a normal name? They're all...
Ryan Calvert.
I was gonna say, why can't anyone
Johnny
just be like...
Maresca.
Tommy Smith, you know, the one that said Johnny Burns. I was like, oh, thank God! Like I know how to read that. That was nice. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just had
no, you're good. Lex Briscuso from Film said that despite the fact that the new visual doesn't give us very many fresh clues, I'm just happy to see new content continue to pop up out of the blue. On April 16th, the NBA playoffs cross-promoted the film with a clip starring NBA player Stephen Curry. Okay, that's the end of that sentence, sorry.
Yeah, it feels
I was so focused on his name!
It should have been more.
Larry Fitzmaurice of BuzzFeed called it terrifyingly funny. Period. On April 27th, additional footage was shown to around 3,000 exhibition insiders at CinemaCon. Peele asked attendees to be discreet and not reveal any detail about the story. This footage, depicting several characters saying a variation of the word nope, was later aired as a 30-second television spot during the NBA Finals, confirming the existence of UFOs in the film. Okay. Jeremy Mathai of Film called it thrilling and noted similarities to the filmography of Steven Spielberg, while expressing his belief that there's something much more going on underneath beyond the extremely easy answer of extraterrestrials terrorizing our helpless protagonists. 4 character posters were released June 7th, 2022, with a featurette released the next day. The final trailer was released June 9th, 2022, featuring the Undisputed Truth's 1971 rendition of The Temptations' Ball of Confusion. Reviewers noted its lighter tone and said it did a better job at explaining the premise. Justin Carter of Gizmodo said it was reasonable to believe the trailer shared too much information, inadvertently robbing audiences of any potential mystery in the story. What a douchebag.
Incorrect.
Oh, there's
Guarantee
more.
it.
Yeah. Fucking Justin Carter. Dickhead. IMAX and Dolby posters were released by the end of June 2022. On July 1st, an interactive website for Jupiter's Claim, the fictional theme park Yoon's character... Yoon, right?
Yoon.
Okay, thank God. Yoon's character owns in the film was published. In addition to providing hints of the plot, it held weekly drawings with within world prizes. Sorry. All right. Okay. Valerie Ettenhofer of film.
Get a fucking normal name, Valerie.
Everyone at hashtag film or diagonal.
Yeah, it's a
whatever.
precursor for being
/film.
Employed there. You gotta have a fucking hard ass name to say.
Valerie Ettenhofer of film compared a poster on the website for a fictional film titled Kid Sheriff to the poster of the 2003 comedy film Holes. Okay. She described the website as wonderfully interactive, sort of like an old Flash game site, but it also gives some insight into what Nope might be about. A real-world version of Jupiter's Claim was added permanently as a part of Universal Studios Hollywood's studio tour on July 22nd, making it the first studio tour attraction to open the same day the movie it replicates opened in theaters. The other addition to the attraction is the atmosphere, such as lights and tube men flicker off while the sound of the alien be heard and the actors starting to panic then begin to look up.
I just feel like I gotta make a note here that we are reading what people wrote. Every now and then we might fuck up a line or something like that, but this is what people wrote. So it's not just us not knowing how to talk. That being said, we're very grateful for all the people who did the research. I've been through that walkthrough at Universal Studios.
Have you really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
For Nope?
Yeah.
And they have the people flailing?
I don't know if those guys were there,
like, right?
but it's like walking through Jupiter's Claim in the movie, like when
it's like the
OJ
Western
walks
town.
through it.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's pretty creepy, and they had like the little aliens walking by, like the ones that he.
Oh, like the kids in costume.
Yeah. All right,
That's
so
cute. Okay.
Release. Nope premiered at the TCL Chinese Theater in Los Angeles on July 18th, 2022. It was released in theaters in the United States on July 22nd, 2022 by Universal Pictures at a date first revealed in November 2020. The Alamo Drafthouse Cinema hosted an outdoor screening of the film at Sunset Ranch, Hollywood on July 25th, 2022.
Oh, that's cool. Can you imagine watching that on a projector out in a field?
That'd be fucking dope.
That'd be fucking awesome.
It's right up there.
Like watching Jaws in a pool, baby.
Hell yeah, buddy. That's the shit. Gonna go do one of those Jaws on the waters thing, you know.
We should. I know an ocean.
It's fucking terrifying. All right. Reception. Box office. Nope grossed $123.3 million in the United States and Canada and $48 million in other territories for a worldwide total of $171.2 million. There we go. In the United States and Canada, Nope was projected to gross around $50 million from 3,785 theaters in its opening weekend, and it made $19 million on its opening day. including 6.4 million, down 14% from the 7.4 million earned by Peele's 2019 film Us from Thursday night previews. It went on to debut to a 44.4 million, topping the box office. It also posted the best opening weekend for an original film since Us, while the film came in on the low end of projections. Deadline Hollywood still deemed it a success, noting it was opening higher than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 41 million, another R-rated original released in July 2019, as well as its Friday to Saturday gross not steeply declining, indicating possible legs at the box office. Deadline also reported that despite failing to meet Universal's 50 million opening threshold for a longer 31-day theatrical window before going to premium video on demand, Universal would still honor the longer window for the film. Film dropped 58% in its sophomore weekend to 18.6 million, finishing second behind newcomer DC League of Super Pets. It finished third and fifth the following 2 weekends with 8.5 million and 5.3 million respectively. On August 9th, 2022, during its third week, the film crossed the $100 million milestone in the United States and Canada, making it the first R-rated film to pass the milestone since Bad Boys for Life in January 2020. It also surpassed Universal's other horror film, Halloween Kills, 92 million in the United States and Canada, to become the highest grossing R-rated film in the United States and Canada during the pandemic.
Oof.
We also have to take account that this was like on the tail end of,
Yeah. People were not really allowed to go out still, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was
right at
it was
end.
dialed in, and there was, people were getting the vaccines and whatnot, but
as far as like going to a movie theater,
yeah,
it was a stretch.
I'm just going to read a little bit of the critical response because I'm just tired of reading and there's a lot to say here. So I'm just going to touch on a little bit. On the reviewer aggregator website, Rotten Tomatoes, 83% of 455 critics' reviews are positive with an average rating of 7.5 out of 10. Website's consensus reads, admirable for its originality and ambitious, even when its reach exceeds its grasp. Nope adds Spielbergian spectacle to Jordan Peele's growing arsenal. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigns the film 77 out of 100 based on 64 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average of a B on an A+ to F scale, the same score as Us, while Post-Track reported 79% of filmgoers gave it a positive review. And then we're just going to jump down here to Legacy. In 2023, it ranked number 21 on IndieWire's list of films with the best cinematography of the 21st century, noting that the visuals gave a unique sense of grandeur and mounting terror. I agree with all of that.
Yeah.
The site also listed it as number 8 on its list of the 55 best science fiction films of the 21st century, and number 4 on its list of scariest alien movies of all time. That's impressive.
Number 4?
Number 4.
Damn.
Michael Abel's score is also ranked number 2 on the site's best film scores of 2022. Comic Book Resources ranked it at number 10 on its list of 10 best horror movies of the 2020s so far, in parentheses, writing, "There's no denying the genius level of storytelling that went into making Nope. It went into the making of Nope and its many layers that blend social satire with an overwhelming sense of dread and mystery. Nope is a mixture of the best parts of Alien and Jaws rolled into a movie that features one of the most unique creatures of the last 20 years.
Damn.
The fear of the unknown surrounding the creature and its unstoppable nature make for a wild ride in Nope that any other horror fan will appreciate for its distinctive style. The site also called Jean Jacket one of the best movie monsters of the 21st century, noting the UFO creature's unpredictability and positively comparing it to the shark from Jaws.
I love it.
Far Out also listed the film as one of the 10 best sci-fi movies of the 21st century, writing that it showcases Peele's unrestrained designs for cinema history. Showcases Peele's unrestrained imagination in all the best ways, and praises Jean Jacket's appearance as one of, if not the most imaginative and singular creature designs in cinema history. Alien creature designs, MovieWeb ranked it as the best alien invasion movie of the 21st century so far, in parentheses, writing that the cinematography, sound design, and creature design are among the reasons that this is one of the best alien films in recent cinema.
Damn.
I agree with all of that.
Yeah.
All that
That's
had
some hitters
said,
in there.
I think when it comes to a lot of this film's release and the way people saw it right out the gate, I think there was a lot of comparing it to Jordan Peele's previous films, which I don't think Nope should be compared to Get Out or Us. I think it's working on a much grander scale. It is a very
huge.
Steven Spielberg sort of like epic adventure film.
Yes.
And in those terms, I think it succeeds spectacularly.
Yeah.
In terms of social commentary, it's not as strong as Get Out or Us.
Yeah.
But in terms of grandiose filmmaking, it's fucking
epic.
Yes, 100%.
It's huge.
It's on that scale.
Yeah. God, it's such a good movie. I loved it.
Yeah. So that's gonna do it for behind the scenes. Just running us ragged, reading all that shit. So we're still out at sea, but all of this reading and diving into the details, we here at the Jony Jawscast are finding that we just might need a bigger boat. Here, where we find ourselves wondering if maybe we made a grave mistake coming out to chase this shark that is much larger than we anticipated, we just discuss which monster we would prefer to face off against.
Oh, God.
The shark from Jaws or Jean Jacket?
Damn. I might take Jean Jacket.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Me too. Yeah.
If, and that's a big if there's a structure nearby.
Well, also, like, hey, if you don't look at it in the eye, you have a chance.
There are attributing factors to survival here.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't look at it in the eye, okay, compare the two. If I don't look a shark in the eye, it's still gonna eat me. It doesn't care.
And not just any shark. We're talking about that shark.
Yeah. If I don't look it in the eye, it's gonna eat me.
Yeah.
It doesn't care if we're making eye contact.
Uh-huh.
It's consensual and it's gonna eat me. if I don't look this in the eye, there's a high chance it might not eat me.
Yeah.
Also, I'm on land.
This is always your go-to. This is always your go-to.
It's yeah, look at the scenario. Across the board, where am I most comfortable? On legs. Where there's gravity. Am I in my environment or theirs? Technically it's an alien, so it's
It's still yours. Yeah.
still my environment.
Yeah.
The shark's not floating.
Yeah.
It is, but not at a farm. It's not just like coming at me from the clouds with no reservation of eye contact. This thing comes down, I don't make eye contact, and I'm in a structure, good. It's not great for the circumstance because I work on a ranch and it's mostly 99% open fields. I gotta keep little floaty dudes hooked up to dead people's car batteries all around me to distract it so I can do my work. That's fine. We'll make do. But if my option is that or floating in the open sea
with a fucking 25-foot
Manhunter.
monster shark, yeah.
that can sense any motion and doesn't care about consensual eye contact. Yeah, I'll take my
Yeah, I'm there for
my
that.
chances out in the field for sure.
I'll take jean jacket.
It's terrifying.
Also, like,
but I'll take it.
at least you got to see an alien before you died, right?
True. It's not just like, hey, I went in the ocean because I chose to. And
Because
hey,
I really wanted
I'm
to
in
go
your world.
surfing on a full moon after my shift at CBK.
to get eaten. Could have lost a fucking leg.
Oh, man. Well,
What do you choose?
jean jacket. Are you kidding me?
So just ocean all day long.
We've
Give me
had
the shark.
this
Give
discussion
me
multiple,
the shark.
multiple times. Like,
you're a shark man.
I would shit myself if I even had to be in the water with the mechanical shark. Like, even if it's the tank at Universal Studios
At broad daylight.
in broad daylight, like, there's the footage of that shark just in the tank and like divers around it. Like, no, I'm not getting in that tank.
So
That's
we're saying,
with this clearly robotic shark that is not real.
So we're
not
saying-
doing it.
you're on the bridge, Universal Studios, where the tram goes through, and it's like, oh, it collapsed. You're on that bridge. All you have to do is just hop off that bridge and get in the water. If the shark is underwater, it's submerged. It's not breaching, it's submerged. And you have to jump in. You can't see where it is. And you have to jump in the water.
And I mean, the thing is,
You have
with
to go
that,
under.
the thing that even that shark looks 10 times, 1,000 times more fake than the shark used in Jaws, and I still have my reservations. Like, you would have to pay me a lump sum of $50,000, I think.
Okay. I'm gonna throw you some. Jesus Christ. That's so much money. You're out of control. Alright, I'm gonna throw you a new scenario. Alright, give me a second here. Let me dream it up real quick. So I'm gonna give you a football field. You're
I don't know what it's saying, but I don't like it.
You've been to a high school track. You know the general distance of a football field.
Yes.
I'm gonna
It's
give you a
large.
football field size pool.
No. Whatever it is. No, I hate this. This sounds worse.
Right,
It would be better if it was smaller.
The shark can only fit in so much water. It's a big boy.
It's terrifying.
I can't give you a 20-foot pool. It won't fit. Okay, alright. 2 football fields.
No!
End to end.
No! Why? What are
The
we
shark's
doing?
at the other end.
No! That shark?
That shark is at the other end. All you know is that it's at the other end of 2 football field lengths.
No.
But you have to hear this out. So, you either get dropped into that pool, or you get dropped into that field on one end, and knowing the jean jackets on the other side of the hill on the other end.
The field! Every single time, the field. Even if I know I'm gonna get sucked up. Okay, here, let me lay it out for you. Even if the end of that scenario is I get eaten by a jean jacket and there's a 50% chance that I survive being in the pool with the shark, the field. Every single time. Every single time. I want nothing to do with that motherfucker. Do you not understand how fucking scared I am of that fucking shark?
Okay, 3 football fields.
We're moving on. It's time for the Yellow Barrels Awards.
Is it the shark eating you, or is it the suffocation tube of jean jacket? Because that fucked me up enough.
I have to pee.
Oof. Man, he'd probably die in both scenarios, wouldn't he? Hey, Bal.
So, here at the Yellow Barrel Awards, we are just gonna hand out some fucking awards, and this is a thing that is very special here on the Jony Jawscast. I don't think any other podcast in the history of podcasts does it quite like we do when it comes to the awards.
Yeah, baby.
So, starting out, we're gonna go with the Doll's Eyes Award, which is the best kill.
Ooh.
Brian, why don't you tell me what you think? Best kill.
3.
You have are there 3 separate kills in this movie? I feel like that's as many as there are.
They're, yeah,
Collectively.
basically.
Yeah.
I had 3 that were impactful to me. When I was going through my list and I was like, man, what are my best kills? I didn't put anything on this list until this scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then my best kill award was the dad, I'm assuming his role, in the Gordy show.
Yeah.
Fuck!
Yeah.
And we've talked about it. Like, those scenes make that movie. But man, they're gnarly.
Mm-hmm.
And like, CGI aside, intense.
Yeah, no.
And his death scene, because of what it sets up in the intro, and then what it sets up in the middle, and then what it fully aspires to, is so gnarly.
Yeah.
And so terrifying. Because it makes you so, like, a part of it, watching it from this child hiding under a table scene.
His perspective, yeah.
His perspective is so scary. And so that was one of my first. Was like hearing footsteps. Him,
why does he come down?
being behind the scenes. He was safe.
Yeah.
There
was
very
no reason for him
off.
to come down from wherever he was, yeah.
Yeah, you're behind the scenes. Then he comes out. Then he tries to reason with a very aggressive, very angry animal.
and he calls him by the character name and not by whatever the chimp's real name is. Which is
trying
like,
to calm it down. Then he runs from it. And then goes off scene and is killed.
Yeah.
And it's so gnarly. Ugh. Freaks me out. My other one was the final death, like, crunch of the crowd above the house. When they're listening to the screams above them, and then it finally just, like, decides to digest all of them or do whatever it's doing, and it just goes silent. It was fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
That was so fucking cool. But man, was it intense. Because that was just such a fucking cool scene. And then my last one was Antler's sacrifice. Just because of the like angle and footage of the death. I thought it was really cool the way they shot that.
Yeah, hey, thanks for leaving me some.
Wherever you want to like jump in, you just
just like cleared the board.
So that's all of the deaths that happened in the movie.
They were all my favorite.
You're right.
The Star Lasso scene, just like everyone being sucked up in there is just so there's something very primal about it, and I'm not sure if it's because it's like the reverse of being born.
Yes.
You know, we just see this tube of just people being like, God, I swear to Christ, like, it has been a scene that has haunted me ever since I've seen it. We see so little, but just enough to know that it's...
You're just seeing, like...
Yeah, and
of all of them going.
It's just so grotesque, and just the woman just being like
yes.
Everyone just being like pushed up into this thing, and then her like kind of like reaching the horse's face and kind of like realizing what it is, this half digested animal, and her slowly like starting to freak out, and then it just cuts, and you just don't see anything else, you know?
No.
And then you just hear the screams, and then the crunch.
And it prolongs for so long.
Just goes on forever. They're all just screaming for hours.
Just going around the canyon. And they're constantly hearing. And it was great because... We had subtitles on, obviously. Mm-hmm. And it's saying, like, shrieking in the distance.
People
and it's just
screaming.
Like, yeah, and it's just, like, solidifying what's happening. It's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Like, you know it went up into the clouds, and you're still hearing it as it's coming into frame above them. You're just like, oh my God.
As a diehard horror fan, I have seen some shit, and I'm always looking to see, like, I fucking love slasher movies, so I love seeing all the ridiculous kills, and I've watched a lot of movies between this, when I first saw Nope, and now, and I can honestly say that this scene has stuck with me more than anything that I've seen since then.
Yeah.
It is just a very, very primal scene, just in a way that, again, the minimalization of what we actually see, I think, is incredibly important, and it I don't know, man. There's just no way to prep for that.
Yeah,
because it really does come out of nowhere. Like, you don't know that this absolutely horrifying thing is going to happen, and like I said,
Angel gets out of his car, he runs back to the house, and the two of them are just in the house, and it's just like radiating above them.
Yeah,
those sounds. Ugh, it's one of the freakiest scenes.
Yeah,
in the movie.
Yeah,
up there with the fucking chimpanzee.
beating Tom to death.
God damn.
Oh,
God, Jesus Christ.
well. Next, we have our Hoagie Award, which is, if you're familiar with this podcast, you know it is derived from our very first episode in which we watched Jaws, The Revenge, and the character of Michael Caine just absolutely frustrated Brian to no end for reasons that, to this day, I still don't understand. But the character's name is Hoagie, and the Hoagie Award has just kind of become this fun sort of running gag that we have where it's Brian's least favorite character. I say that in quotation marks because it's usually a character that Brian loves to hate, but is Brian's infatuation at a character that he probably, just outright loves. So we're just gonna, for this particular episode, I don't think there's any character that is dislikable in this movie. So, we're just going to kind of reframe it this time, and it's just going to be Brian's favorite character. So, I feel like there's not going to be any surprises here, but go ahead and hit me.
Angel all day, baby. Angel all day. God, he was just... oh, boy.
Yeah.
Such a fan. There wasn't anyone I hated in this movie. They did great. Obviously, if I had to really flip tables, you could try and swing a juke, but it's just not worth it. Angel's our man.
Yeah,
he's our dude.
Brandon Piera played Angel Torres, and God, he's just I love everything about this guy. I love his style.
Yep.
I love his fucking bleached hair.
Yeah, I want to bleach my hair now.
Yeah, me too.
He's this heartbroken techie and just down in the dirt trying to help and just gets on board. And man, he's just like this crusty little fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And I love him.
Running his mouth and always excited in... just the fact that he has friends almost, right?
He's got people.
Uh-huh.
that don't want him, but he has people.
Yes, exactly.
And they need him, so they're his people.
Yes.
He's a hooper, 100%.
Yeah.
He's a little techie nerd, and he finds his people, and I love it.
Yeah.
He's just latches in and immediately becomes part of the group with his stupid, bitchy little quirks. And he's fucking great. Angel.
For the love of fuck.
Yes.
Well, jumping on to our next award, this is the Barry Gibb Award. Again, taken from our very first episode of Jaws the Revenge, in which Brian thought the character of Michael Brody, who was played by the very handsome, very talented Lance Guest, Brian thought that he looked like the lead singer of the Bee Gees, Barry Gibb.
Actually, I think a news article just came out recently that solidified those beliefs. But go ahead. After you.
There might be a print from a very unreliable source that is, currently being taken to court, but that's neither here nor there. Brian, the Barry Gibb Award is basically the look-alike, and I know that this was actually kind of a hard...
I had a couple
sell for you on this one, so please, who is the winner of your Barry Gibb Award? The best look-alike. Somebody who looks like somebody else.
Right out the gate, OJ looks aggressively like the guy from Get Out. Tit for tat.
Well, that's very much because of the same guy, Brian.
Secondly, Jupe looks a lot like the guy from Walking Dead.
Oddly enough. Same
just
guy,
it's
actually. Yeah.
we're hard pressed. There's I don't know racial profiling going on.
Excuse me?
I'm just saying there are options out there, and
These are the exact
these are
actors that
just
play these
I'm
roles.
just best lookalikes.
Next thing you're gonna tell me is that Angel Torres looks a lot like the actor Brandon Piera, and I'm just absolutely flabbergasted. You're the worst, and this is the worst segment that we've ever done, and I'm tired of it. I'm not being paid for this, and I'm certainly not being paid any overtime, which is our next award. No overtime, which is our best special effect. What do you think the best effect is in this movie?
I had a couple actually.
Surprise.
I put that the ship for the first good look when it takes Ghost was one of my favorites. When it's aggressively subtle.
Dude, I missed that shot the first 2 times I watched the movie. I was like,
Really?
Where is it? Where is it? And because it goes by so quick.
He literally looks. It gives his version of the fucking
His
hillscape.
perspective, yeah.
But it's only between the bottom canyon.
Yeah.
Off, and it's out of a cloud into a cloud.
Yep.
And it's so cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's a good UFO shot. Especially in movie. I thought that was just... I'm like, okay, obviously I know we're getting more of, but fuck, I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
I was like, what a great intro of just this little sliver of did you see it? And case in point, did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first one. What was yours?
I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in this. I think really best effect, whether it be practical or physical, I couldn't tell you which one this is. I assume it's physical just kind of by how natural it looks, but I really do love the mouth of the alien, just that square fucking tunnel thing. Just
that was fucking cool.
The way it just kind of it is so foreboding.
Are you talking about the intro, looking out of it, or looking at it from the ending when it's doing its flashes?
I like the credit sequence
that was fucking
going
cool.
into it, because that's and then it even becomes more prevalent after the showstopper the point of the film where everyone gets eaten. You realize that that's its fucking throat,
right?
So I like that because it just has a very kind of natural, scary, dark tunnel feel. But also I think the finale when Jean Jacket kind of shows its true form is pretty kind of incredible. As far as computer generated design is concerned,
Yeah, that was gnarly. I had an aggressive second one that I don't think you agree with, and it was Gordy as the chimpanzee. You weren't into it,
Bullshit.
and I think the way they did it was very just the way they orchestrated it was very intense. I don't think CGI wise it was done as well as it could have been, but I think the way they implemented it was really invigorating and just emotional for what the movie was. And I know you didn't like it, but I was like, man, fuck, it freaked me out, and the way they did it freaked me out, and the absence of people in the audience, and like the way they set that scene, especially towards the tail end when they came in from the back end to like really show the whole like scene, just like, ugh, it was freaky to me.
No, I mean I agree with you. I love the scene. I just think the
CGI was
the actual effect of the monkey, where it, like, as far as its movements and everything were concerned, like that looked realistic. That looked really good. I just think that it is very much.
It was like a video game,
and obviously CGI like thing, and I'm like, all right, cool, like. I know you guys can't use chimpanzees, but maybe you should have tried, because...
There you go. Exactly. What was your next one? You have another one?
That's like,
I think I had one more. Best effect. Oh, I put that's right. I put the wind tunnel people, the waving, wacky, inflatable arm people. I put them dying off as an effect that I loved because it was easy but effective. And the way they used it, I thought was fucking cool.
Yeah.
And like, I think they leaned into it just the right amount of being like, all right, we're gonna steal some batteries.
Yeah.
And they're dead people's batteries, sorry. And they did that, and they made that scene, and then they followed up with it with Angel being like, oh, I'm sorry that I used some dead people's batteries, and some of them might not work all that well. And they touch on it again, and the fact that, like, that was their power source.
Yeah.
And that it fluctuated as much. I don't know. I thought that was really fucking cool. And it's such a simple, easy thing to rig for a team.
Yeah.
But it's so impactful.
Yeah.
Like, all I do is be like, these, whatever, are on this control. And, like, for filming purposes, it was probably a cakewalk.
Yeah.
But it looked so good.
Yeah.
And it made so much sense.
For what they're
to the situation.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I agree. I think that was
that was one of my favorite effects.
A really good plot device for sure.
Yeah, I thought that worked out really cool. The way they like implemented like flags and the fucking fake horse, and then finally it tallied into, oh, this is how we can like map our field with what we have, and it looked perfect. And it was easy for them.
Good writing across the board.
Yeah, it just worked well and looked killer.
Yeah.
And I know how easy it was, but it looked so good.
Sometimes the best things are the easiest.
Yep. Yeah. Don't overcomplicate it. And that's why I was just like, ooh, I really liked that. Especially with where they put the emphasis on it. Especially like, tail end, like all of a sudden she's like trying to get a motorcycle, and all of a sudden it's like, she's like, oh fuck, I'm in the clear. Like, I'm gonna start this thing up, and it's like, those are your markers type of thing, and the way they use it. And I was like, damn. Ingenious. Loved it. That was fucking killer. But yeah, that was my last one for best effect.
Speaking of fucking killer, how about putting a bullet right into an oxygen tank and screaming, "Smile, you son of a bitch." Here we are at the end of our lengthy episode on Nope and its relation to Jaws. We're just going to give our final thoughts and rankings. So, B-Rye, why don't you take it away? Tell me what you would rank this film out of 10 and how you feel about it overall. I would go
8.5. I think it's up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's killer. It's new, but it's not. It's a good take on something that hasn't really been done. But man, it's fresh. I love it. It's nice. It's new. I loved it. It was a good, like, Interstellar meets Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've talked about. It's Jaws on a ranch.
Yeah.
But done in a very elevated way.
Yeah.
Peele takes it to that level. You know, you can do it 100 different ways as far as Jaws and a ranch, but it's up there.
Yeah.
As far as, like, intellectual and, like, you have to think in it, like, twists you in the middle. It's cool. No. It's 8.5 for me. It's rewatchable because the more you watch it, the more you understand it, which I love those kind of movies.
Mm-hmm.
It has depth to it. There's thought process. Yeah. Solid 8.5. Solid 8.5.
I feel that I think I'll just echo everything that you said. For me, last year when I was putting together my favorite films of 2022, like, this was like a dark horse for me. Like I said, when the trailers came out, I was like, yeah, kind of whatever about it. Excited to see it, but I was not thinking I was going to be super duper impressed. And I remember just walking out of that movie being like, looking at Celeste and just being like, I think that might be my favorite of his movies. I'm not sure. Like, I need to sit on it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I did my review, and I think I played it very safe with my review. I think I rated it about where you have it, somewhere in that ballpark, probably like 8.5. And when it came time to do my end of year, like, top favorite, least favorite movies, like, I thought of all the movies that I had seen last year, and this one just came out on top, like, by a large margin. I was just like, it was a movie that stayed with me, that I thought about, and then Celeste just happened to throw on about this time last year on Peacock, and it was weird because I was like, it's not a Christmas movie and it's not a horror Christmas movie. What are we doing watching this movie right now? And it was before I, like, had to go to work and shit like that, but I was still kind of, like, tuning in.
Of course.
And I was just, like, really excited by it. And I remember just being so excited. I was like, God, I do really like this movie. And that, like, stuck with me. It is a movie that, like you said, the more I watch it, the more I enjoy it. And this rewatch is absolutely no exception. Like, I picked up on things that I hadn't before. Just like the previous, rewatches I had with it. I stand by it being Jaws on a farm, and I think it's probably, as far as the films that we have covered on this specific sidecast, I think it is the best film that we have covered.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's a good fucking movie. It's a really good fucking movie. It's exciting, it's fun, it's fucking scary. It checks all the boxes of what a cinematic blockbuster should be.
Yeah. It's mysterious. And that's like this huge depth of mystery.
Yeah.
Which is what Jaws is. You don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
And you can't, tell the future. Yeah. You can't predict what's gonna come next.
Yeah.
And it does it so well. And I love that about it. It's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, I agree. And
It's something so foreign, should be kind of regular to us, but so foreign, and you can't pick up on it.
And that's
and you can't get an edge on it, so you're just along for the ride.
Yes.
And it's very uncomfortable. And that's the best part about it.
In the best ways, yeah. I agree.
That's the best part about it, is you are just very uncomfortably along for the ride. Yeah. And you have to be.
Because that's what you signed up for.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think I'm a point above you. I think after these handful of rewatches and really sitting with it, this movie's at like a 9.5 for me.
Ew, baby!
I really
yes,
like this movie a lot.
I love it.
It still might be like, even after all the really great films that I've seen this year, it still might be a more enjoyable watch than even some of those movies. So
yeah,
I think 9.5. Like it's just it's right up there with Jaws and Jurassic Park in terms of like, this is why we go to the movies, right? Yep. You know, you get mystery, you get intrigue, you get adventure, you get horror, you get romance, and the sense that Angel's just in love with Emerald and OJ.
Yep.
You know,
but on top of all of that, it still has, you want to rewatch it.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to hit it again and see what you missed.
Yeah.
Because it has such a deep-seated mystery that you have technically figured out. If you watch it again, you'll pick up on something. Yeah. You'll always hit something. So you want to rewatch it. Yeah. And that's the best part about it.
I agree. 100%.
You will come back to it.
Yeah. And I mean, I know
and
I
if,
will.
even if you rewatch it with someone else, you'll be like, oh, they don't even know. They don't even know. And then we watch it and you're just into it just as much.
That was part of the fun for this watch, was just being like, oh man, B-Rye has no idea what he's in for.
Oh, we started it and it was like screaming and shit, and you were just sitting there and I was just like, oh, you fucking know this is pissing me off. And I was like, what the fuck is happening?
What did he reel me into?
I'm like, okay, here we go. We're along for the ride. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, well,
that rewatchability is huge, though. Yeah. It's a big factor.
I agree, and I mean it's awesome when you can find a movie that has that quality.
Can you imagine? You're up against someone who's never seen Signs. I'd watch that with them all fucking day long. Mm-hmm. Like, let's watch Signs right now. Well, Signs, like, I've never seen it, but we're watching it right now.
Signs, and I do think that Nope falls into this category. Like, if we're probably going to get rid of our DirecTV very, very soon because we don't watch DirecTV anymore, but Signs was a movie that like was always on HBO or something like that. So it'd be like, all right, well, we're getting ready to go to bed. We probably got like 30 minutes before we're going to, cash in our chips.
But there's Mel Gibson.
Like,
so sad.
It's right. It would always be like right when, be like, all right, it's the so-and-so brothers and they gotta be around here. And, you gotta curse. And Mel Gibson's like, curse? It's like, just say something. Like, all right, cool. And they run around the house. I'm insane with anger. And then you back up, and he's like, I cursed. I heard you.
I heard you.
It's always that.
That's right. He's a pastor.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah. So we had always started that part. But all that said, I feel like Nope would have fallen in that category. Like, it would have been on HBO, and it would be something that like Celeste would be like, oh, Nope's on. Let's throw it on 20 minutes before we go to bed, and we'll just like fall asleep to it.
Yeah, you're gonna turn it on, and they're gonna be under a table in the kitchen, and it's gonna be on top of the fucking roof, and you're gonna be like, I want to watch it.
My hope would be that it would just be OJ and Emerald smoking that hobby weed, drinking scotch on the rocks.
That's a good scene to walk into.
And
You're like, I'm in.
I suppose on that note, we better wrap up this episode of the Jony Jawscast.
Yeah, baby.
I have been your host, Johnny Horror, and my co-host, partner in crime, first mate, captain aboard the Johnny Horror, the USS Johnny Horror. Is that what we're calling it?
Sure.
You know, Brian, this is gonna be the last episode that we do for this year. So,
So I'm captain. Is that what you're saying?
Look at me. Look at me.
I'm the captain.
I'm captain now. Hey, if you wanna run this ship next year, I'm here for it. Please.
Oh boy.
By all means. Gang, thank you to everyone who has tuned in, who's listened, who's liked, who's shared. We appreciate it. Really, at the end of the day, it's just an excuse for Brian and I to get drunk and talk about sharks and scary shit. So, if you have fun listening to this podcast, please share it with any and all of your friends who you think might enjoy it as well. Give us a good rating on Spotify. 5 stars would be fucking dope. And just a big thank you to everyone who tunes in. We appreciate it, and really look forward to seeing you guys on the flip side next year. I feel like I'm probably gonna force Brian to watch some really bad, Jaws knockoffs. Maybe we'll touch on Grizzly. Maybe we'll jump into Orca.
Ooh, yeah.
We haven't even covered the Meg 2 yet, which
Oh!
I know Brian's, hungry for, and I am too, because
So
that is one of my favorite movies from this year,
It's
so
horrible.
I can't wait to fucking talk about that shit. But for now, this is the Jony Jawscast. I'm Johnny Horror, and with me, my best pal, B. Rye Calvert, and we will see you motherfuckers on the flip side. Adios, muchachos!